republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moment of silence, please. Thank you.
Alderman Wattawa.
Here.
Alderwoman Calderon.
Here.
Alderman Brickner.
Here.
Alderman Fire.
Here.
Alderwoman Fliss.
Here.
Mayor Tutai.
Here.
And Alderman Damon asked to be excused. And the meeting has been properly posted and noticed.
Public hearings? None. Presentation? None. We're skipping citizens' comments for this part. Citizens' comments? Rick, can you please come up and state your name and your address? Mister.
Thank you. Mr. Rick.
Rick Urbanowicz, 4242 South Nicholson Avenue. Good evening, council.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, youngster.
I just want to let you know that this weekend, the 4th of July, I hope you guys all had as great of a time as I did. This country deserved this weekend. This city deserved this weekend. And I just can't say enough about the job that the celebrations committee did for our 4th of July. They probably had less than 4 weeks to get this thing going because we didn't even know if we were going to have one this year. Mayor, Alderman Fliss, chaired by Kim, and all the other citizens that helped, kudos to you. You did a great job, and I know you put a lot of hours in. The parade was great, you know. Again, it changed this year from 2019. It started earlier. You know, nobody likes change, nobody. But I'll tell you what, this change, it was great. I can't say enough, and I want to compliment Rick Hackle.
Absolutely.
He did a great job.
No, an awesome job.
Awesome. As you would say, Ken, he hit it out of the park.
Literally, they hit it out of the park.
What's that?
Literally, they hit them
Yeah.
out of the park.
I remember back in 2019 when I was on the celebration committee, and we knew we were going to have to move the fireworks from the old site because of the development. I had talked to Rick, and he had said they could go in the north end of the parking lot. It'd be great. It's going to be a ground show. Well, as naive as I am, a ground show to me was like we were going to have 50 of the flags just burning. That's what I thought a ground show was. And I think Cudahy thought the same thing because they were touting that they weren't having a ground show. They were having aerial fireworks. Ooh, ah. Well, I'll tell you what. Cudahy's fireworks still suck, and ours were great.
Be nice.
That firework display was better than I could have expected. People just packed. I don't know how many people were there, but there were so many. In my 22 years coming to the 4th of July, I've never seen that many people. Rick, again, to you and your family,
Absolutely.
you sacrifice a lot. And I want to thank him for that personally. Besides that, I think it was good that things are getting back to normal. COVID's, I'm going to say going away, but we know it's not with the Delta variants that's coming up. But it was nice to be out in a group and have a good time and celebrate the 4th of July. Thank you.
Thanks, Rick.
Rick.
Moving on, consent agenda. Is there any older person that would like anything removed from the consent agenda?
Mayor, I'll make a motion to carry all the consent agendas at one vote.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Reports of committees, commissions, and boards. Recommendation of action from the committee, commissions, and boards. Action to be taken from the licensing committee meeting held July 6, 2021.
Mayor, from this evening's licensing committee, we're looking for approval for beverage operator's license for Megan Moran.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
Next, we're looking for renewal amusement tags for supplier device tags for Kenny's Amusements.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
And beverage operators licenses for those six that are listed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
And that's all from licensing, Mayor.
Thank you, Don. Action to be taken from the Planning Commission meeting held June 23rd, 2021.
Mayor, I make a motion to concur with the planning commission recommendation and to have the city clerk schedule the public hearing for that property.
Wait a minute,
What is,
that's not what,
Should we do each one separate?
But I'm doing the 4005 South Pennsylvania Avenue, change of zoning
Okay.
application.
hang
well, that's
on,
your,
hang on, that's not,
It's not. Yeah, he made some changes.
Paul?
Paul.
Right, so this is a recommendation from the planning commission, and so by state statute, the council cannot act on a change of zoning without first having held a public hearing. And so, we need to have the public hearing scheduled, at which time the council can then act on the requested zoning. So tonight, the council would be receiving the planning commission's recommendation and then scheduling the public hearing, after which the council can vote on the requested rezoning application. Does that help?
so the
Okay, so the
motion
mo-
really is just to go to the public hearing.
Public
and
hearing.
move-
Right.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay, I'll second.
Receive it.
Okay, I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Ayes have it.
And then the 4051 South Iowa Avenue, application for reduction of off-street parking requirement. I'll make a motion to concur with the planning commission recommendation to reduce the off-street parking requirements to 269 spaces to allow time for the additional required 53 spaces to be added by either October 31st of 2021 or when the space is leased, whichever occurs first.
Second.
All in favor?
So, excuse
No,
me, Mr.
sorry.
Mayor.
Go ahead, Paul. Sorry.
So there is a, in follow-up to the Plan Commission's recommendation with the city administrator's blessing, we have prepared an agreement with the applicant that essentially indicates just what was said, but puts it in terms of an agreement form and provides for enforceability by the city in the event of its violation. So it's the same thing that what the Plan Commission verbally said, but we've asked for making the council's authorization subject to entry into that agreement.
So how do I amend that to?
You just say, just add it, just to add the subject to entry
Subject to
into
them
the-
agreeing to what?
Subject to their entry into the agreement with regard to the reduction in parking.
So move.
Concur.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
And then 3729 South KK Avenue, Verizon Cell Tower Modification Project. I'll make a motion to concur with the planning commission recommendation to have to approve the plans for minor changes to the equipment, generator, and fence areas, subject to compliance with all applicable city codes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
And that is all from the planning commission, sir.
Thank you. Action to be taken from the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting held June 23rd, 2021. Mark, is this the one that,
Mayor, the motion from the zoning board of appeals is for 4032 South Kansas Avenue accessory building and structure variance. Made a motion to concur with the zoning board of appeals recommendation to approve the variance to allow a four-car garage over 960 square feet, but less than the size of the principal structure in the rear of this yard setback.
Paul?
excuse me, so just to clarify, this action from the Zoning Board of Appeals stands on its own. There's no council action required to sustain their decision to grant the variance. And so my recommendation would be that the council simply receive and place on file
Receive and place on file.
the Zoning Board of Appeals action.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you, Paul.
You.
Resolutions and ordinances.
Ordinance to create and repeal and recreate specified provisions of Section 273-3 of the City of St. Francis Code of Ordinances concerning additional provisions pertaining to intoxicating liquor and fermented malt beverage licenses.
Any discussion, or Paul?
Oh, I was gonna say.
Sure. This ordinance would make several modifications to the existing provisions of Section 273-3 of the city code concerning alcohol licensing. First of all, it would change the current provision that only requires that the ability to see into the licensed premises after closing. The majority of municipalities actually require that at all times, and so this would enhance the police department's ability to observe what's going on in the licensed premises at all times. The second one is with respect to, it would create a new provision that would prohibit any person who's licensed by the city or under the supervision of a person licensed by the city from serving alcohol while they're intoxicated. The rationale for this is quite simple. Under Wisconsin state law, it's illegal to serve an intoxicated person alcohol. And so the logic follows that, you don't want the person who's making the judgment as to whether another person is intoxicated to be intoxicated themselves. Finally, the last change would be to create a new section with regard to temporary expansion of licensed premises. This essentially codifies the city's current practices with respect to requests for expansion of licensed premises. Presumably, as we are seeing premises try to, come out from under the COVID-19 near death knell that they have faced, that they are going to be trying to come up with more and more ways to make themselves available to their patrons. So this will codify the city's current practices, and it also creates a permit fee so that to cover the city's expenses in dealing with these, since they have to be dealt with by both the city clerk's office, police, and fire, and sometimes building inspection. And so this would set up an initial $100 application fee that would apply. That application fee is also stated to be subject to further change in the future, just as the council would make any other changes to its established fee schedule.
I'll move to adopt the ordinance.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Discussion items with possible action. Service provider security agreement, service provider service agreement 07/01/21. Mark?
And maybe I'll just give you a preface of what this is all about. So from time to time, we have our software providers which want to have access to our system. So they want to remotely access and come into our system and work on either the software that they've installed or elsewhere in the system. What this service provider security agreement is they would have to sign an agreement with the city whenever they access the system. So it would be an agreement where they could sign it once. For instance, if we have our payroll software provider needs to come in and access the system to try and do updates or correct something, they would sign a service agreement and it would be good for the time of the period that they're providing the service to us. But at any time, we would allow access to our IT system and allow them to access the system, we would have them sign a service security agreement, which protects the city so that if that individual that's going through the system should, set up a portal that they can come back and try and access the system later, or look at data that they're not supposed to look at, or anything else, that they would be liable for that.
So you just want a motion to approve this agreement?
Yes.
Is that it?
Right,
Also move.
Right, we're looking for it to be adopted as the standard agreement for vendors to sign in conjunction with any other vendor agreement that is forwarded to the city.
I'll
Thank you.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Bi-monthly pickup of John's disposal of yard waste for senior citizens, disabled residents from May to December.
I ask that this be put on the agenda. I'm hoping that we could have some discussion and maybe ask Mark to find out the cost, or Melinda, of what something like that would cost. Other cities do this. I have quite a few seniors that have asked me, including my neighbor, that cannot get to carry her own things, put them in the trunk, get them down to the dump, to the yard waste. And I think that this is a service we should be offering our residents. We have a lot of senior residents. We have a lot of senior residents in the first district. And I think it's something we should look into and, if possible, afford to do.
So are you looking for
I'm
them
looking
to
for a
pick stuff
motion,
up
yeah,
and
well,
take it there?
Yeah,
to our
well,
city
they
yard?
usually, I know like in Greenfield, they have a container that they put out just for yard waste, and it's like once a month, and John's picks it up, and I imagine they either take it to wherever or they dispose of it. But they can do that. There are other cities that do that for the senior citizens, and I think that we should be doing, we don't have enough staff on hand for our highway department to do something like that. So I think we need to look into seeing if John's would do it. So I'd like to make a motion to ask Melinda and Mark to look into the cost to see if we could work something out.
So my question would be, though, would this be similar to the recycling and garbage bins? Would they be charged an annual fee then for that?
We'd have to see. We'd have to see what, I mean, like John's does do it in other cities, so we'd have to ask them
Okay.
the cost, or maybe they don't, it's only like once a month. I don't know what it would cost. But I think that there are enough people, I know even in my neighborhood, there's quite a few people, I take my neighbors myself, that could use some kind of service like this. We have a lot of elderly in the city of St. Francis.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you, Debbie. Service from Health Department, 1 day a week at the Civic Center. Again, Debbie.
I also ask that this be put on the agenda. I know when we contracted with South Milwaukee, I was on the Board of Health at the time, and I thought it was an excellent idea. I still think it's an excellent idea. I think our health department is great. But I am concerned that we don't offer at least 1 day a week a service here where if you didn't have to drive to South Milwaukee to get your immunizations for your child, your blood pressure. I mean, we are the city of St. Francis, and it is the city of St. Francis, South Milwaukee St. Francis Health Department. I think that 1 day a week we should have service at our building, and the residents can just come here if they would like, instead of driving to South Milwaukee. And I just think that's a convenience. And we had a health department, established here. We have, rooms. I know we're looking at doing something else, but I'm sure something could be made accommodations. And I know we'd have to talk to Jackie and things like that, but I just think it's something that maybe we should have looked at doing right from the start. That's my opinion. So I would like a motion for us to look into this at least and maybe discuss it with Jackie, see about the room. I don't know what anybody else thinks, but to me, it just makes sense.
I'll motion to accept our health department options for 1 day a week.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you, Debbie. Restoration or replacement of outside bricks with proper inscription. Debbie?
Okay, I guess I'm on a roll here.
She is,
I'm
which is
sorry,
good.
but I've walked past that for, even when I wasn't elected, and it looks horrendous that the names have faded. I know we were trying to do something, but I'm tired of us trying to do something, and I want something done. It should be fixed correctly, those bricks should be inscribed. I convinced people to purchase those bricks way back. I think all of us other alder persons, we were involved in that. Our committees purchased them, and you can't even read them on this side at all. So I think we need to look into getting that done. It's July, and so here's another year we don't have them done. So we need them fixed.
Well, apparently your voice is louder than mine. I've been harping about this for a long time. I think that the way that those are put up there was done cheap. And it needs to be redone because these people put their money out for something good and they wound up with something less than.
And I know, Melinda, you were working on it, but I don't know, I thought that gentleman fell through, or the quote fell through, or whatever.
If I may, Melinda?
Yes.
Yeah, we had a gentleman that we were working with, and he gave us a quote that was acceptable, value-wise. But all we asked him for was a certificate of insurance because that is standard operating procedure for us, and he basically ghosted us. So we can try, and then COVID hit, and so a lot of that, we can reach back out and try to get back and see if he'll give us a new quote and get us, but I can't let him work without a certificate of insurance. And there's not, we've contacted cemetery companies that do headstones, we've contacted painters, we found this guy basically through word of mouth, because it's not, you can't just go paint it, you gotta, seal it, you gotta do it all, we wanna do it right, so, it's not something that's just, you just call in the phone book or whatever.
No, I agree, but then
So,
I think
but-
it's time that we redesign it and we do new bricks. I'm sorry, but I do. Then we take it down and we do it correctly, because that's ridiculous the way it looks and for the amount of money that all these people put into having it done. So if there's no one available to fix it, then we have to reorder. They're done in other places. You can walk around and see them inscribed everywhere under the sun. The sisters have a whole bunch that look terrific up by them now. I mean, then we purchase new ones, and maybe we go around that's there and, make it bigger. I don't know, but something's got to be done this year. This is way long enough. Right, Don?
Yep.
I was just providing you the status update.
I know. And I know that fell through with that, but that's why I'm saying it's time then we look into some other option. So I would like a motion that we look into any option to get this fixed this year. So I'll move for that.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Debbie. Appointments to committees, commissions, and boards. None. Correspondence with possible action or referral to the committees, commissions, and boards.
Correspondence dated June 24th, 2021, from the St. Francis Historical Society regarding donation of bench. The St. Francis Historical Society would like to donate a park bench to the city of St. Francis in honor of the late Barbara Januszewski, the society's former treasurer. She passed away January 6th of this year at the age of 87. She was very dedicated to the Historical Society and will be dearly missed. Since she was an avid reader and a valued member of the St. Francis Library Women's Book Club, the Historical Society Board thought a bench in or near the top lot next to the library would be a nice spot. The society will pay the cost of the bench and plaque in memory of Barbara. The society hopes that the council will welcome this gift.
I make a motion to accept the gift from the Historical Society.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you.
Correspondence dated June 28th, 2001, from the city of Oak Creek regarding intergovernmental agreement for police, ambulance, and fire-related dispatch services. The cities of Oak Creek and St. Francis are parties to an intergovernmental agreement for police, ambulance, and fire-related dispatch services dated June 23rd, 2014. Paragraph 3A of this agreement states, "The initial term of this agreement shall be 10 years, and thereafter it shall automatically renew for 10 years unless terminated by one of the parties as herein provided. Further, paragraph 3D of this agreement states, "During the initial or any subsequent term, St. Francis or Oak Creek may, upon 3-year written notice, notify the other party of its intent to withdraw from this agreement for any reason whatsoever or to not renew this agreement. This letter is to provide St. Francis with written notice of Oak Creek's intent to not renew this agreement after the end of the agreement's initial 10-year term. Given this notice, the agreement will not be automatically renewed for an additional 10-year term. Oak Creek is willing to discuss terms for a new, long-term agreement for dispatch services. This can be a bilateral discussion, or, as per our recent meeting of June 21st, 2021, certain other South Shore communities can come together to determine if a more regional dispatching approach is in the best interests of our residents. If St. Francis is not interested in entering into a new long-term agreement with Oak Creek, please let us know at your earliest convenience so we can work together to ensure continued uninterrupted dispatch services for St. Francis after the current agreement expires."
Doesn't seem to me that it's the city of St. Francis that wants to get out of the agreement. And I've said this a long time also. With my history of Milwaukee County, once you contract something out and get rid of it, once that contract is up, they're going to put it in your shorts because they know that you can no longer provide the service because you gave up all your equipment and you gave up all your service. So, once again, we are here discussing dispatch service, which I was opposed to moving it out to begin with for this very reason, that they don't wish to honor the contract that they signed without having, they think that we're getting it for too much, too less, and they want more money from the city of St. Francis. So I know Mark had discussion with them. Mark, what was their, if you could, just on their discussion with the
Well,
contract and its status?
after I received the letter I requested, it indicates I did reread the contract. It indicates in the contract that they're supposed to be providing us with an annual budget of costs, and we have not received an annual budget in any of the last 7 years from Oak Creek indicating what the costs of their dispatch services are. So the first thing I asked for was the cost evaluations of the service. I did receive a response back from the city administrator, Andy Vickers, who indicated that their comptroller was on vacation this last week and that they would like to have a Zoom meeting on the 12th of this month. So I guess what we would like from the council is we would like permission to have staff discuss and negotiate with Oak Creek on this issue to determine if there's any ability to continue moving forward after the end of the contract.
I would move on that. And from what I understand, it doesn't say that they really want to pull out. They want to kind of renegotiate with us, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and I can understand that after 10 years. I mean, let's face it, we do need the budget costs. We do need the information, totally. And I'm sorry we haven't been getting that. But I think we need to hear what they have to say, and then Mark can negotiate and see what they come up with. So I would move at least that we look into this.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
Correspondence dated June 30th, 2021, from Ronald Preston regarding request to hold second annual Native American powwow at Milton Vretnar Memorial Park. I'm writing to request to be included on the agenda for the next Common Council meeting on July 6th. I'm hoping to work with the City of St. Francis to host another powwow at Milton Vretnar Memorial Park on August 21st, 2021, from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. I'm seeking the use of the park and its facilities, including the kitchen and restrooms. Our 2019 powwow was a great success, and I am hopeful to again use the same location to host another similar event. I look forward to further discussing this possibility with the council.
And is the park open on that weekend, or do we know?
Melinda,
Yes.
yes.
Yes?
Yes.
I'd make a recommendation to accept the powwow again for this year.
I will second that.
Any further discussion? If you want to say something, absolutely. Come up to the front by the mic.
Good evening, Mr. Preston.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you very, very much. I'm very, very like emotional, so I'm very humbled. And you know, it's been a hard year for our community. We lost so many people, and these celebrations that we had, like the 4th of July that this gentleman talked about earlier, it was fantastic. It was great to see families coming again and being together, and this was the kind of thing that I wanted for this powwow. It was so awesome that last time we had it, nobody wanted to go home, but we had to end it because it was time to go home. And I think that it's going to be super fantastic. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank all of you for accepting this on your agenda. And may God bless each and every one of you. So thank you.
And may I just add, 2019, when you had your powwow, I was so proud of what you did there. There was residents of other cities, politicians of other cities that contacted me and said, hey, how did you get this guy? He lives in St. Francis. He's ours.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Can I get a motion?
There was a
have a
motion to
motion.
place on
Yep.
file and approve the
Yep,
request.
Gotcha. Unfinished business?
We have to.
We need to vote on that
yeah.
motion,
No,
though?
you're pushing ahead of me. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you, Ronnie. Unfinished business? None.
You almost created some, but you're okay.
Keyword almost. Keyword. Other business? None. Department heads, Melinda.
I have nothing tonight, Mayor.
Thank you. Chief?
All right, we had a busy month in June, wrapping up all of the first half of our semi-annual inspections. So it was great for our new firefighters to get in and out of the buildings and areas in their first due response area. We also hosted the county meeting for the BLS to ALS transition. So for the 4 communities that are currently running basic life support for the transition to ALS, we hosted it right here in St. Francis. It went great. We got our timelines down as far as the movement and as far as getting the paramedics signed off with Milwaukee County. It's going great. A couple of things: hose line deployment and pumping, water rescue, aerial operation, platform operations, and review of policies and rules. Those are our training for this month. So a lot to do with water to keep everyone cool, and then going through policies. Just a reminder to everybody, on July 22nd at 3 p.m. is our ceremony. It's been a long time since the fire department's been able to have a ceremony. So we have 4 new hires, 2 retirees. We have a trumpeter ready to play, bagpiper that is itching to play, and so we're gonna have a good ceremony that day. So just a reminder on that. And other than that, we'll be at the police department's event, at the city event, National Night Out, with Badger Corn and with the Pizza Wagon. So we'll be there. And now we're looking forward to a powwow as well. So with that, I pass.
Thanks, Chief Poplar. Chief Hunter?
Thank you, Mayor. First off, I want to thank CICR Insurance Company. Not sure if anybody's or if everybody's aware, but they reached out to us regarding a Milo machine. A Milo machine is a tool that law enforcement uses. It's an extremely expensive tool. There are a few in the area, one at WCTC, one at the 128th, one at the FBI. They run between $50,000 and $100,000 per unit, per machine. We have the machine currently housed in our training room, or council room, for a month at no cost to the city, no cost to anybody. We've been training on that daily with our officers. I want to invite each and every one of you to also come and try this out with our trainers and also the PFC as well. I brought Melinda in. She happened to be in the area, and put her in the heat of the moment during an active shooter situation at a school. And needless to say,
I died twice.
well,
Oh, no.
not only that, but the fact that her reaction after she did what she had to do is just it says a lot about what the mindset of an officer has to deal with on a daily basis. As the same thing goes with the video that I sent you, how quickly things can turn and how quickly things can happen and the decision that you have to make. So this Milo machine has over 700 scenarios in it. We'll have it every year. It's top dollar. It's second to none as far as quality goes. and every year they add more and more. So again, 700 different scenarios that we can use. If you want to use your friendly type, they have like balls that you can just shoot for target practice, but they actually have live scenarios, and we can dictate how the scenario goes. So if you're doing the correct conversation and speaking with the individual, talking them down, we can have it where the person gives up. Now, if you escalate or the person escalates, then we can trigger to obviously lethal force, which is something that we do not want to do, and it's the last resort, obviously. So I want to again thank CNC. Bruce Scott from CNC, he also runs the alert program. There's also a law enforcement police competition that's coming up in October, and we have one of our officers that's going to participate in that, because you can only have one from each agency that's going to participate in that, and the winning agency gets $10,000 from CNC, or CIC, I'm sorry. Our honor guard, on behalf of our honor guard, I want to thank all of you. I want to thank the citizens of St. Francis for the just tremendous support. The shirts are selling, the donations are incredible. So again, this city is, it's just amazing how we can come together to send 4 individuals who've never been to Washington, D.C. to Washington, D.C. to represent our city for a good cause. So I want to thank all of you and the citizens for what they've done to continue to support us on that behalf. And then lastly, Melinda and I and Chief Poplar have to get together to discuss the triathlon, the USA Triathlon. I know in years past, it's been a no-brainer. Lake Drive all the way down. We only had to shut down one apartment complex or one condo complex last time because Park Shore, we could send them north. However, now we have 4, so it's going to be, and they don't want any traffic at all on Lake Drive, 0 vehicular traffic. We're going to have a hard time with that because you're going to have a lot of occupants that are going to want to get out of their condos and whatnot, so we're going to have to come down with a game plan. We have a Zoom meeting set up in the near future regarding that. And that is all I have.
Thank you, Chief Hunter. Ann?
I have a lot. I'm all excited. I never have anything to say. Much. First of all, I'm going to start out with, helped and volunteered with the 4th of July, or the Celebrations Committee, and we had a couple unsung heroes that day. First of all, Alderwoman Fliss was there with us through the whole day and worked diligently, and I don't think that everybody could appreciated all that she did, but we couldn't have run that beer and soda sales without her, and with Mark was there as well. The DPW was amazing and very helpful and went out of their way to make the park presentable all day and answer any questions and have any help. And Belinda was there when I called several times on Sunday morning looking for help as well, so I really appreciate all that. And I have to also compliment our police department and the honor guard standing out there, and the officers that were around in the park all day being kind and caring. And a big shout out to Officer Buck, who helped me get out of the park at night because I was kind of stuck with the crowd. So I appreciate that. And then last but not least, I had just the unfortunate opportunity to have the ambulance have to come to my house because my daughter fell and chipped her ankle and had to take her very first ambulance ride, as did I. And I work with these guys all the time, and you forget that they have this professional side because they're usually too busy harassing me. The 3 firefighters that were there went above and beyond and were so kind and caring and kept my poor, very anxious daughter calm, and were just polite and professional above belief. So thank you very much to your department. And the happiest note of all is sewer bills went in the mail, so you should all be getting yours. And with that, I pass.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Mayor. I pass. I can't top sewer bills.
No one can, except
Oh,
maybe,
Mark will try.
except maybe K-9 Bain or K-9 Riggs. Mark?
Thank you, Mayor. The only thing I have is 4200 on the Lake is having a grand opening for council members and members of committees, commissions, and boards that were part of approval of that project. So check your emails to see if you've received any invitations. If you haven't, check your spam, because it may have gone to your spam, because it is a mass mailing, and sometimes our mail sends things to our spam folder. So check on that. It's July 22nd. It's a Thursday in
What
the
time?
afternoon. I think it's 4:30.
Because theirs is 3 PM.
Yeah, it's after that.
Plenty of time to go to both.
Okay.
So check your emails and RSVP. They'd like to
I just
know
got
how many
mine
people-
today and I
Yep.
It is in
responded.
spam, so mine.
It is in spam? Oh,
No.
Thanks.
Spam, spam, spam.
That's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you. Before we go any further, Jackie, did you want to say anything? You're good? Okay. Thank you. Debbie, if you got any breath left.
I just want to.
wow.
That's pretty bad. I just want to thank everybody that helped with 4th of July too. I thought it went off super well. Anne also did a great job singing for us, so I want to thank her. But all the committee members and all the extra volunteers, we had a ton of extra volunteers, and it was wonderful having DPW down there. I know I requested a few things from Dave and Carson quite a few times, and they were wonderful. And I agree, having the PD walk around, and they were personable with everybody there. I saw the kids around them. I just think it was a great day, especially after what everybody's been through. So I am glad we had a wonderful 4th of July. I wish it would have been a little bit cooler, but other than that, I pass, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Sarah?
I concur with all the kudos to everybody. I got some feedback from some of the citizens as well, and everybody just seems like they had a really great time. It was a great party, great time down at the park. The fireworks were amazing. Anne singing was a surprise to me. She did a great job.
Awesome job.
All the volunteers, everything that everybody did was just amazing and pulled together in such a short amount of time. Thanks to everybody who was a part of it. It was a great job.
Thank you. Sean?
I'll start with Melinda. DPW was fantastic. Love the snow fence for the cans. It's visible. People know what it's there for. But the park was very clean, very presentable. It was nice to be back there again. Chiefs, you guys are amazing. The partnerships with the training, the education, the Milo, that's all stellar work. Happy to hear the pizza and corn are going to be back. It's a great fundraiser for you guys. I do have a question for Chief Hunter, though. We have a retired officer who was a long-standing honor guard member. Is there any way he could attend with the group? I'm terrible with names, and his name is hard to spell.
Or to spell.
Dimitri?
Dimitri's last name, yes.
Samalov?
Pamela.
Well, you're asking if you can attend what?
If he could go with the color guard to that national, I think that would be quite an experience for somebody who spent a tremendous amount of time with that group.
Understood. So we've had discussions about that. It's based off his schedule as well. He could not attend as an honor guard member. His uniform and everything
Sure.
else is long gone.
Yeah,
But if we were going to send him as a photographer,
outstanding.
so because he's always been a great photographer.
Yeah. That's what made me think of it. He's
I know,
videos
I know
are-
Paul's. I'm looking at you, but I can see Paul on my peripheral. That's my job to be observant, and I saw some movements and some gestures. But I was so that is in the discussion to send him as a photographer to document
Excellent.
their accolades and what they do there.
He actually shoots pictures at our high school softball games. That's what made me think of it when we were wearing the shirts. As far as, I agree with everybody, being back in the park, being back in the community was tremendous. We have some new citizens in our community, in our district, that met up with me at the park, and they had nothing but positive comments. They love the friendliness of the community. They love the environment of the community. They said the 4th of July was tremendous. They're really looking forward to St. Francis Days and National Night Out. I told them, you will not believe National Night Out, second to none in the area. Everything you guys do makes me proud to be part of this community. Thank you for all your efforts. And I would thank the committee, but I'd be remiss if I forgot a name, and there's too many, and I'll forget somebody. So thank you to all of you. With that, I'll pass.
Thank you. Don?
I just want to mention, 4th of July was a good time. It was a little warm, as Debbie stated. But other than that, I think the food trucks were a good idea. Worked out okay. And I have a thing with Milwaukee County has decided that Clare Hall is no longer in their best interests. So they have moved in a different direction. I think with a little prodding from Mark and others, that we closed down their warehouse. So that's all I got.
Thank you, Don. Steve?
I have nothing this evening, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Everyone stole my thunder. That I was going to give congratulations. Yes, Chief.
I think Jackie and I both missed this, but I want to get it before our next meeting. Wednesday, July 14th, from 3 to 6 p.m., we're having a car seat safety check in addition to bike helmet fittings and supplying and walk-in Pfizer COVID vaccines for ages 12 and up. I forgot about the email. So we're having that. We're hosting it at the firehouse in conjunction with the South Milwaukee St. Francis Health Department. So again, car safety seat check, bicycle helmets, and Pfizer vaccines. Sorry, I missed that before.
No worries. Yes. St. Francis Library, correct? Yes. Thank you. Go ahead. That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you, Ronnie. And for me, as I said, everyone stole my thunder to congratulate everyone, but I'm going to repeat a little bit. Melinda, your employees, home run. Chiefs, home runs with 3 people on base. And I want everyone to know that Mark and Ann volunteered for over 8 hours in 95-degree weather to sell tickets for the beer and soda. That was amazing. And then finally, Rick, that was 3 home runs in one game. I've got nothing but people saying kudos everywhere. And that's all for you, and I appreciate that. No issues. The only thing we had an issue was for handicap parking, and I believe Mark and I have a solution for that. So you are good where you're at. But thank you.
Perfect.
That was outstanding.
Excellent.
Yes. Yeah, my hat's off to you.
You raised the bar, Rick.
And with that,
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
all in favor?
Sarah.
Aye.
Aye.
Park it.
All opposed? Ayes have it.